Chapter 3, Risk. Edward goes hunting with Carlisle as he sees how he looked leaving for Alaska, and Edward assures him it was the right to let him leave. And he came back because he didn't want to be seen as a coward or think himself as a coward or some bullshit like that. Like, if it's to preserve somebody's life, it's not cowardice. It's just common sense. Okay, and she'll be gone in 2 years, and he's not leaving, but can't explain why. So they hunt an unappealing smelling deer. They return home full, and Ed starts to think he should have leave in 2 years. Bella will have a life, go to college, and get married, and that image causes him pain. Boy, if only you knew. And he decides to see her one more time and started thinking of excuses to stay. And Alice confronts him. She wants him to stay and offers for her and Jasper to go with him and says he'll upset Esme. And he sees her vision of him in the meadow with someone else. His future is shifting and his life is at crossroads. But he's not killing anyone. He's not killing anyone today. No, he's not. That's real reassuring, Alice. So they go to school, and he's disgusted with Emmett and Rosalie making goo-goo eyes at each other. And I quote, "Maybe they would all be happier without me hanging around, ill-tempered and belligerent as the old man I should be by now." And I'm just going to leave that quote alone. Or he's just being bitter because he's alone. Yeah, alone and emo. His world was empty except for her. She looked anxious like everyone else, and he notices the black ice everywhere. Okay. Again, like, I don't care, like, your invincible marble statues. There's black ice on the road. Your car will be a projectile. Like, it just frustrates me how reckless they are. And adds to her character that she's serious and responsible. Bullshit. I read the 4 books. And he watches her get out of the truck and check the snow chains. And he has to know what she was thinking and wants to go talk to her when Alice screams no. As Tyler speeds into the parking lot towards Bella. So he acts without thinking, knocking her head on the ice and swears a word under his breath. And I quote, "Never in the presence of a lady." You know, you could really make a drinking game of all the parts where you can tell a Mormon wrote this. Like, seriously. And he risks exposure to stop the van, and he starts to panic that Bella saw something. But she's fine. But he won't let her go because it feels safe to have her tucked in his side. She asks how he got there so fast, so he starts gaslighting. Already people have crowded around the accident, and Bella insists he was across the parking lot. And he decides he needs time to destroy the evidence to refute her story, and says to trust him, he'll explain everything later. No, he won't. And the first responders arrive, and he's sure she'll be the least reliable witness because of everything that happened. And he catches his siblings' thoughts, and they'll be held to pay tonight, and he's frustrated that humans are taking long to get to them. Like, okay, I have to stop here, like, to say something. All this happens, like, the crash and his rescue happens, like, 3 seconds. Like, how do you swing a human body around like a rag doll and not expect there to be serious injuries? Like, I'm serious. And one of the EMTs recognizes him, and he says he's fine, but Bella hit her head. The martyr preferring to suffer in silence. this shit is really annoying me. I'm not joking. And Edward insists his father will check him later. And as everyone's distracted, he uses his foot to carve out the human shape in the dent in the car. Again, how does no one hear this? He's denting metal. It makes noise. This shit would be noticed. These vampires would have been, like, exposed decades ago because of how stupid they are. And then he rides in the front of the ambulance, and he hears Charlie's thoughts of panic and guilt, and he notices his mind is almost as silent as Bella's. So he's not as slow to think. Like, he seriously thought Charlie was slow. Like, oh. But he couldn't focus on that since he has to be sure he didn't leave any evidence. But according to the EMTs, Bella wasn't hurt. Bullshit. And she's sticking to the story. At the hospital, he finds Carlisle and explained what happened, and is assured he did the right thing. But she's expecting an explanation, and he's afraid he hurt her. Like, if real-world physics were involved, yeah, her organs and bones will be pulverized by you swinging around like a rag doll. So he stays in Carlisle's office, listening to the other's thoughts, and is tense when Tyler asks how she got out of the way, but relaxes when she gives an excuse that Edward was there and moved her out of the way. But he moves when Tyler starts thinking of Bella and thinks of asking her out on a date. And Edward wonders what these feelings are. So he peeks at her x-rays, and Carlisle assures she's fine and laughs at his joke of her mother dropping her on her head because of all the contusions. I read that in the leak. I can't believe Meyer actually left that in. Like, seriously. Like, wrong place, wrong time stuff. And he says she was in the wrong place with Edward here. So Edward goes to the ER where Bella is and pretending to sleep. And she opens her eyes when she hears his voice. And he marvels at Carlisle's ability to ignore blood. And Carlisle comes in to examine Bella. And Edward envies Carlisle. And he calls Bella brave. Bullshit. And she doesn't show weakness. Bullshit. And Carlisle tells her she can go home. She stumbles and Edward again envies Carlisle when he catches her. And Carlisle leaves it all to Edward. And Bella wants to talk to him. And he feels the urge to kill her. And Carlisle reminds him to be careful. Bella wants to speak to him alone. And he decides to lie and be cruel. She wants an explanation. And he gaslights her like in Twilight, saying no one will believe her. And she doesn't know why he bothered. And for once he tells the truth, that he doesn't know either, and he walks away. And that is Chapter 3, Risk.